Alright, so this is Nikki Sayward and Jonathan Hochberg doing another episode of Local Shakes, and today we are speaking with the blind spots. So maybe we could start off with you guys going around saying your names and your role in the band.
Go ahead, Francis.
Clockwise.
I'm Francois Dillinger. Clearly, my role is to play the bass guitar and provide a fair amount of
Spirit.
spirit. Spirit, sure.
I'm Mike Suave. I play guitar.
Maddie Walsh, I'm the lead singer.
Dave Openshaw, I play the keyboards.
I'm Mike Parker, and I'm the new guy. I play the drums.
I was gonna say, new guy sounds a little dubious.
Well, he'll always be the new
I'll
guy.
always be the new guy, though. It's getting close to a year, but I'm still the new
He's
guy.
still the new guy. There isn't anyone newer.
That's right.
So you guys released your first album in 2010, and you guys haven't been together all that long, at least in terms of some of the other bands around here, especially like Sim Redmond. And it just came to our attention because John and I were listening to your music, and we both agreed that it sounds to us like the sound you guys project just suggests that you have been together longer than you have been. Where do you think maybe that's coming from?
A lot of rehearsal.
Hours.
Hours and hours
Rehearse.
and hours and
I mean,
hours.
we've all been in different things, so none of us are new to being in a band, but I agree, though. It takes bands to have their own, to congeal.
Chemistry.
A long time, yeah, the
We put
chemistry
in
of it.
a lot of hours.
So we're happy that things have come along. As I don't know, I'm sure if you asked on a certain day, it's not quick enough for us, but we feel like we're in a good spot, and things have been rolling along at a good pace.
And we haven't, we just haven't slowed down since we first started. When we decided we wanted to do it for real, we just practice as often as possible. And getting, 5 people's schedules to line up isn't the easiest thing in the universe because we all are grown-ups and we have stuff going on. But this is what we want to do, so we make a lot of time for it.
But the last couple of years have become more and more fun because as our chemistry has really sort of come together, when we develop new tunes, everything falls right into place now. There's very few questions as to who's going to do what or who's going to bring out this part or that part. So personally, I really, it's just been getting better and better, and that comes with playing with people for a while. It's really things happen much more quickly now, which is great.
I wonder how this kind of growth as a group maybe affects your recording process.
We're recording this album differently than we've done the first 2, so I don't know. I mean,
A lot of it's this guy.
yeah,
He's
it's
worked
the
here
new
for
guy.
years.
The new
Well,
guy.
he's worked in this venue for years, so I mean that's what an asset to have a member in the group who knows his way around the space that you're actually doing the recording in. So I mean he knows what mics and he knows where they are. So that's been the biggest change I think with the newest thing. And we did a good part of our last one here with Alex here, and that was our first introduction to Pyramid Sound, and he was great with us as well. So I think just Mike being here with the new stuff and us knowing the space better, I think that's the most obvious newest thing, what's happening with the recordings.
So you guys have talked about Ithaca being a rich and diverse musical scene, and part of the aspect of that is having studios like this in place and some fairly substantial venues and a receptive audience. And yet, on the flip side of that, there are a lot of bands.
There are a lot.
There are a lot of bands, and the
really good bands.
and the company, an amazing amount of talent, which is one of the reasons why Nikki and I decided that there was a purpose in doing what we're doing. So, it's an amazing competition for ears.
Sets the bar high.
It
really
does.
It does set the bar high, but I think more like there are certain towns. We were just actually talking about a town that we visited recently where bands are more in competition with each other, which is not at all the community that this is. I think it's really incredible, and that there's a lot of support from other musicians. So where the bar is set really high, it's only encouraging. It's not like, oh God, like we're never going to be as good as like this band or this band. It's like being around this many other musicians. It's just a really creative and supportive environment, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really small town. Like my parents just moved here from a town just outside of Ithaca, and my dad, we were walking around somewhere recently downtown, and my dad was like, God, there's so many musicians around here. We ran a 5K last Saturday, and it was like just musicians along the side of the trail and stuff. He was like, Jesus, there's just like the concentration of talent in this town is crazy.
Wow.
So it's a really awesome place to live and to be coming from as a band.
You guys broke in like really fast too. I mean, not to like be blunt about it,
No.
but you released an album, and the next year you're at Grassroots Festival, and that's not a common thing around here. So how do you account for that kind of meteoric rise?
I really do think it's like a hard work thing.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. I'm not gonna I think there are so many really fine musicians in this town, but I think that it's easy to become complacent because it's something that you love and you want to continue to love it, and sometimes it sucks to go to rehearsal when you're totally exhausted and you've worked another job all day. But it's like just putting in the actual time. So when we have a show coming up, we're just not like, oh, like we'll figure stuff out. We'll figure out the promotion like a few days before or whatever. We're like pushing. We're ruthless, kind of.
Yeah, can't you tell? It's really
Well, it's just, we'll book any like radio show that we can. We'll put up our own posters if we have to, and we put all of our show money back into the band so that we can have good merch to sell people, and like it's really like work, and it has to be a labor of love.
I was just gonna say we actually love. I love when she mentioned radio show. It's fun.
Yeah.
We like doing it. I'm getting ready to do the rounds of postering. It's kind of fun walking around town and doing up the telephone poles, and I don't know. I like it. So
It's definitely beats.
it's
a
not
number of
just
different
stuff that's
day
like,
jobs.
oh God, we got to do it. I like it, and we like even things like this.
Well, it's clearly it's paying off. I mean, it is paying off because you guys have really lit a rocket. It's very cool.
Maybe you know some information we don't know. But we'll take it.
I do also think that we did, in the very early beginnings, we definitely paid some dues.
Oh, we're
I
still
feel
paying
like-
dues.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
dues for
But I
10
mean,
years.
as far as like just getting
Yeah,
gigs, period, and
Yeah,
like,
we had our,
it's
you
been
gotta build it.
It's been a work in progress, and,
Yeah.
but
Get
you're
through.
right. It's started happening, which is just that much more motivating to
Mhm.
really work hard, to keep pushing.
I think that the answer is right here on
And your tea.
my tea today, and it basically says that chances multiply if you grab them. And I think that really sums it all up.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's
Now
all
you're
I
gonna
have
have
to say
to give
about
Lipton
that.
and some sort of royalty.
Interview over. Then.
Yeah. Pretty sure I
Thank
just
you,
won the
Lipton.
interview. Thank you.
Damn it, you guys.
Sorry, guys, we don't. So I understand that some of you come from musical backgrounds. How has that also influenced maybe your growth as well? I mean, maybe has that helped you? Do you feel just really be on the upswing at an even more accelerated rate?
I mean, if you do stuff, just like anything, if you do something and it fails, you learn from that. So you try to bring to your next thing that you do, oh, that didn't work the last time, whether it be a venue or, so I guess between all of us, our collective, amount of gigs we've played and all that stuff, that helps to travel and to know how to get on time to places. Some band, it takes a little bit of that. So we've all kind of done that before we hit this project. So I think we've got a lot of that out of the way of the incompetent fumbling a little. So that helps to have your internal scene tight and know how to run it. So I guess the past stuff we've done, which has highs and lows, but they're obviously that's why they're past projects. It didn't work. some way or another.
Well, I think really that attitude as well is part of being successful, as you said. You know, you have to fail to learn, and that, you know, being comfortable with that and like learning that process in itself, you know, you're less afraid to try new things. We're still failing and learning
Yeah.
and succeeding, and we will indefinitely continue to fail and learn and hopefully succeed. And when something goes right, you know, it gives you a little bit of fuel in the tank. But you know, that whole process of like failing and not getting disheartened by that is, you know, it's a huge piece of success in anything, I think. So yeah, you know.
The difference is now we're not just blindly flailing about as we fail. At
We've
things.
learned a lot.
It's very calculated
Yeah.
failure. You know, like a lot of thought. Like, you know, when we
feel
do something
really
and
hard.
it falls on its face, you know, we
That
put
was
a lot
a
of
bad
time and
idea.
energy into it. So, you know, you really,
Yes,
you
listen,
know,
we got to fail in 2 weeks.
yeah,
we
you
got to
learn
start
something
working
from it.
Let's,
Can we interview you right after?
Yeah.
And after the failure.
Just a little
Absolutely.
It's a
before and
mess.
after
Yeah,
comparison.
there's
Oh,
tears.
sure, yeah.
There's lots of fluids.
let's turn to the music. Talk about the music. So the album that is out now, which is Small Stampede, you have 6 songs. They're all really punchy, really tight. They have a good variety of sounds, but they're all very mainstream, popular sounds. And, you know, I think one of the things that I have seen bands struggle with the most is finding, you know, where that core is, where their center is. And you often have bands go for years and then break up because they can't get there. But you guys have clearly, I mean, from the first album to this one, have clearly gotten a very, you know, clear direction. So,
Do you want to
did
be
you?
our manager?
No. No, but I'm happy to promote the hell out of you, you know? I really am. But the thing is that, you know, so what I'm curious is, you all came from different backgrounds, you came to this place, and you locked on that groove. So what was the process? You know, did you like...
It's still evolving.
Of course, and it will forever, but I mean, but you clearly, you found that groove together. And that, to me, is one of the biggest miracles of music production. You know, is that you can find that. So how did that? You know, how did you realize that? How did that happen?
For us, I think it's a live show. We didn't want to be relegated to the Sunday morning 10 o'clock set everywhere you play. You want to play when it's exciting. So okay, we're all, you know, had different bands that we enjoyed, you know, rock and roll groups, but stuff that's fun. I mean, you know, we could write acoustic sad songs all day, but we want to have some fun and play. So I think a lot of that comes from playing on stage and trying to get an audience going, and we love it, you know, seeing a bouncing up and down. I mean, to me, that's the high point. I'm just speaking for myself.
Yeah,
but-
I think we thought about like where we actually wanted to be, like what kinds of shows we wanted to be, and if, you know, if we got into such and such a festival, what kind of slot would we want to be? So if you want to be a headliner, you have to think about what kind of music you're actually going to write and put out there. What is headlining music?
And fun
And
too.
you
and
know,
just
we
fun
like
stuff.
you know, sweat and youth, and you know, it should be joyful and really fun. So that's sort of what we started doing collectively. And you know, we still like reserve the right to write whatever kind of stuff we want. You know, put out, I don't know, ballady stuff.
Yeah, of course. But I think at the same time, if you know Keith Richards were to write, you know, a blues record, you still, hey, that's
Still,
Mm.
it still sounds like Keith Richards.
Yeah.
At
That's
the end of the
true.
day, this group of people on the couch together
Yeah.
will invariably, if we wrote, you know, a rock and roll record, and then, you know, this record, we're trying to make, you know, we're going to make a pop record, we're going to make a hip hop album, whatever, it's going to kind of have a sound, because that's what comes out of, you know, this grouping of people. You know, and that's not always the case. Sometimes you get, you know, 4 or 5 guys together in a room, and they will do that. They'll kind of
Push
fight
and
and they'll
pull.
try and they'll do this and they never will develop. And then for whatever reason, sometimes you just get really lucky and you get the right bunch of people together at the right time and it just sort of does a thing. And whenever, you mix these chemicals together, it's always going to produce,
And when we do a cover, it still sounds
It
like
still
us
sounds
doing
like
the
the
back cover. Or
everything, yeah, it's
something
just, which,
that's good.
Yeah,
I
well,
like
it's
bands
a-
like that.
That's sort of the unspoken, like, I don't really know what that means, like where that comes from or why. Maybe it's a timing thing and just, I don't know, the proper chemicals, like all the right ingredients for a certain sound.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that we have one.
I think it's like cooking. It's the right ingredients
Uh-huh.
and also time. I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but it's the time it
And
takes
love.
when we
Must cook with love.
right and love. Clearly, we're not in it for the money. But when we did the first album, we weren't a band for very long.
No, we
And
were
6
horrible.
months.
There was a lot of, it was sort of like, okay, we
the
have the
record took a lot
studio time
longer.
booked. Here's it. So it was kind of, a lot of the songs were already, written, and it was like, okay, let's come up with some parts for these. And that was right at the beginning, and then when Small Stampede was really a culmination of those first few years spending time together and sort of in training our own wavelengths and sort of starting to find those similarities and those points that are focusing our direction a little bit. So to me, when I listen to them, there's a huge difference between Small Stampede and El Camino Dream, and that's part of it is like, with Small Stampede, it's a result of us being a band and being in a room and writing and contributing all as a group. And again, I'm excited for this new one, whatever it may be called, because it's been, we've been spending more time together and we've gotten some new ingredients that have been great, and it's like, I'm really, I think some exciting things are going to come out of it because of that. But again, time and ingredients and love.
As well as the interaction that we have developed with the individuals coming out to our shows. You learn as much by playing for people and watching them, and that sort of helps bring everything kind of together. You develop your sound, and you come up with sort of what you love to do and how everybody's reacting to that.
Your vocabulary.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
sort of that helps sort of develop where you're going.
Mhm.
So I'd throw that in
Neat.
there as well.
You guys want to talk about the upcoming show at the Hunt?
we would love to talk about our upcoming show at the Hunt.
Yes, it's the 16th of November. It's a Dan Smalls Presents show, which we're really happy about. We did our first show with Dan Smalls last March, and it worked out well because we sold
him
out.
and his staff are great, and they know how to get the postering and get us the materials we need to help get the show going. So working with him and his crew have been fabulous.
Another one of those Ithaca resources.
Yeah, no,
Right.
really,
He's
Right.
amazing.
He's
It is.
great.
He does amazing things.
He's
and
been really great to
back there.
us,
Mm-hmm.
and he got us on some bigger stages. We opened for Blues Traveler this past summer at the Rochester Party in the Park summer concert series, which was pretty surreal.
Turned out to a rained out party in the arena thing, but instead of the park, but it was
It
really
was-
fun.
Yeah, pretty not too shabby to be on an arena stage at this early juncture. So it was
With Blues
fun.
Traveler.
Yeah.
that was great.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really fun, and hopefully we sold out right before we went on stage for the last Dan Smalls show, and so we're hoping to sell maybe before the date actually hits.
So people want to come, and I thought the last show went off really well, so I hope the same energy rolls into this upcoming one. So
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of fun things
We
planned
do,
for
we
this.
have a
Last
good-
time we did fun
Yeah.
things, and this one we have a
More
bunch
fun
of
things.
more differenter fun things
we have a
planned.
cool band coming.
Yeah, a great band coming to open the show.
Cheers,
Elephant.
from Philadelphia, so we're excited to do a show with them. And,
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
That'd be great.
Good band, good dudes, good times.
Good times.
I think that was a pretty good end question. Do you want to wrap it up on that note?
I'm fine.
Okay.
November 16th.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
We
you guys
appreciate
for
your time.
coming to our
Yeah, thank you guys.